I probably would focus on the socioeconomic and class, because I grew up going to private schools. Our family belonged to a country club. We all had everything we wanted. And even though there was a sense of the importance of giving back and participating in charities, et cetera, I never made my bed growing up. I never, had to, iron my clothes. Somehow they miraculously were returned to my closet, neatly folded. And it really wasn't until, I left for college, because all through private schools, everybody I knew, it was the same way. So it wasn't until I left for college that I really began to realize, how privileged I was. And I think as a result, it's raising my kids and my two daughters, it's really important to me that they participate in the family and the family chores and take responsibility around the family. Oddly enough, it almost had a reverse effect by being raised by this privilege. I've become probably almost a little fierce about it, the importance of it, because I think it really is an important set of core values. I think it just was, sort of a light dawned, that I had this unrealistic background and set of privileges. And, at first I actually found when I look back on it, I think I actually first started to boast about it, well, I never had to do that. I kind of liked the feeling of, portraying that I had come from this privilege. And then I think the more I grew up and matured, the more, not that I became ashamed of it, but the more I realized what an unrealistic, set of unrealistic lifestyle I really had. And, I think I gradually began to, make it sort of more subliminal and become more of an undercurrent. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still appreciate, the nice things in life, but I think appreciate is the operative word, not take for granted. My parents were always, concerned about giving back and about charities. We had a swimming pool, for example, in our backyard, and 2 or 3 different times in the summer we would have groups to the pool. There was actually an orphanage. They were called the German Orphan Home, and all the kids would come and we would play, and spend a whole day together. I loved that. I loved that kind of stuff. And my father was active in the Kiwanis Club, and we would have events at our house, because we could. So there was that sense of giving back, but it was separate. That was them, and we did things for them, but us was different. And we didn't. Our friends were all the same as we were. I mean, I think I ended up where I am today because there were both sides of that message, and I think the more I found myself, the kinds of people that I found myself, drawn to, attracted to, who really sort of challenged and stimulated me were people that, were not from such a narrow background, but from people who, embodied, qualities and characteristics and values and backgrounds that were very different than I was. And, it made so much sense to me that, the world is just a much more, complex place. And so, I found myself wanting to travel and, get to be involved in different things. I'm a writer at heart, and I think part of being a writer is, wanting to plumb the depths of, what makes us who we are. And so that's, been a fascination of mine. And so I've sort of sought things that are different from me.